as part of the cybersecurity, fraternity, we need to start spreading with our own peers. I strongly believe that we need to start spreading around ourselves, our peers, our colleagues, our family, and start spreading this around. And the industry needs to have a common body where you could actually post all this and start sharing. These are my personal thoughts, and I think the fraternity from a security standpoint, we have already started doing that. You could be hearing that A vendor trying to collaborate with B vendor trying to give that feeds. Already in the banking industry it has started off. So that's a good beginning, but long way to go. That's what is my take, which I would actually give.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kundu?
Hi, good collaboration is I think is one of the key issues these days. Though I being in the representing maybe the public sector banks, we can be taken, that is granted that we are not that much open. So that should not be feel that we are too much secured, because we are not much open, so maybe we are not been affected by ransomware, or maybe something is already been affected at the malware, we don't know, as you say. So we have to creating that awareness. This is one of the biggest issues and challenges, awareness through the training or more of the other aspects as we've already talked, and sharing the informations. Maybe within the CISO group, IDRBT has taken some initiative in the banking frontier, but still we are not really so far we are maybe able to share too much or that much which is required. It's some sorts of ornamental body, as I say. On the contrary, as he rightly says, in the WhatsApp group and all those things, the sharing is a bit more, but it's not in the, I'll say, industry level, or I'll say from the government or some regulatory perspective. So need to share, need to take a collaborative effort, because so many people are taking everything as a silo. We know what are the problems, what is OPT, what are the ransomware, what are those threat intelligence, what are the analytics, which is to be done, which is not to be done. But still, everybody is doing of their own bit, not a very much collaborative effort amongst the people who are affected, and also with the maybe some sorts of the vendor or right directives. That's really been actually requires in these scenarios, and we are more towards the reactive sense. We are, as you say, the people on the other side, they are so much of in an organized way they are doing it. Why you cannot do? Why you have to always be only on the cannot do in the behavioral based analysis in the these things? Products are available. So I'll just end up with that one, that we can do more and more collaborations with the maybe the support of the governments and the regulatory body, and that should be the way forward.
Thank you. Maya, your views?
See, as you rightly pointed out, we actually lack a forum where people can come up and share openly without being worried about this piece of information being misused by somebody or misrepresented in some forums. So maybe an anonymous reporting forum. Last week we were attending another session on the dynamic CISO. So there also we discussed something very similar. See, NCIIPC is there, DSCI is there. There should be a forum where people can actually report, maybe with a delay. If people are afraid of reporting immediately, maybe after 2 weeks delay, come out with facts. We don't want to know who it is, but at least tell what exactly caused it. See, when we look at the Bangladesh bank case, I think it's a failure of the basic hygiene factor which actually started with it, because otherwise how can a malware enter? So we look at the fancy technologies, the fancy names and things like that, and we somewhere forget on the basic hygiene part. We have all the tools, right from the firewall to the IPS to the web application firewall to the malware, anti-malware proxy and everything. But how frequent do we go back and check 100%? Zero tolerance to any avoidable mistakes. That should be the top agenda of any CISO. If you have say 100 assets, everything should have the basic hygiene, and it should be checked on a very regular basis. If you can check it once a week, check it once a week, at least once a month, it should be checked and confirmed. How can there be a critical asset which doesn't have a working backup? Impossible, right? We can beat the ransomware point there itself. If you're 100% confident that any ransomware can attack me, but my data has copies available. So that way I think we should focus more onto the basic hygiene part, and we should have the forums where we can openly discuss. And Ajit also mentioned about the dark world, people looking into the dark world and coming back with pointers. Maybe they are using coded language or something. If we are really getting that piece of information, why can't we really tell people? They may be our competitors, doesn't matter. As one fraternity of people who are practicing information security as a defending side, why can't we share it? If you say that there is a name similar to something is seen on the dark world, publish it.
Yeah.
Let people know about it.
Thank you. So I want to come to you, Vasudev, and in the presentation we saw something where we said that security operations centers are now going to be, future is security intelligence center. Your views on that?
See, the challenge I personally facing right now is because of the complexities of attacks, we ended up in deploy multiple solutions, right? Some solutions are complex, right? Now, how will we integrate these solutions? I think most of us is facing the same kind of challenges. Can this solution talk to each other and um, and come out with a result or dashboard kind of scenario? So I have I'm searching for tools and technologies to do this stuff, but unfortunately I couldn't find anything.
Sure.
But we have to do something. So I've started using some BI tools to collect logs and to generate some intelligence out of it. But the problem with BI tools is the time factor. We cannot do it real time. So I want to know, is there any solutions available to take care of this problem?
Sure. So we'll maybe park that question and Ajit, you can take it up. Wanted to ask you, Paresh, we talked about cloud adoption, and within that, how can security and security professionals and technology solutions can be a strong enabler for cloud adoption, because that's anyway going very fast. So how do we, what are those 2-3 things that we need to do or that comes to your mind which are required for a stronger cloud?
First of all, what we need to have a mindset is, yes, we have to go with the cloud. Because first of all, the mindset is not with the people that they're thinking that cloud is something out of my, premises. It's basically right now, as we mentioned that the periphery level, right, it is like out. So right now mobile can access, my laptop can access, anything can access. So if you put the data in your premises or you put the data in cloud, it's one and the same. There is no difference in that. What you need to do is how that data has been monitored and how that data has been, used. So there are a lot of different methods available that if the data is lying in certain, levels, you have to have a certain authentication in place. So that authentication has to be in place first of all. Audits that has been required, and few things are there which we were, I think so earlier days, I'm talking about nearly about 2000 2003, we have put our trading terminal on outside on the cloud, you can say that. So we were having the mutual fund, the buying and selling of the mutual fund, it used to be in the CAMPS premises. So that we did. So few things what we identify was that, where there is a weakness, there is first of all the, the privilege identities. So we have start monitoring the privilege identity. So, because lot of, if you see any threats or any hack, basically it happens from the system admin. So that is one thing which we try to, there are a lot of tools available or also monitoring available wherein you monitor the privilege identities. Second, like the super admins and all this stuff. Second thing was, the hardening of the devices. That's the second thing. So like example, the Trojan, how did the Trojan enter into the device? That has not been proper hardening. So for that, again, a second weakness. So if you take out any hacking or any incident, that is either it's related to the super admin accessing the this thing, or either your weakness of the device, which is hitting with the virus or this thing. So if two things has been controlled, as per me, I think so more than 50 to 60% of the hacking can be avoided.
Sure.
So that is the two things are there. Then in ahead, if you go, right, then there is a lot of, like, say, example, the insurance thing, the data insurance. The people are not yet still started. So that also, if you do something like this, which we took an initiative to do that,
Sure.
So, at least you can secure our business and all. Second thing was, yes, the awareness and all the stuff. And the main thing is the emergency response team. because so I have seen that, internally we all are speaking each other and all, but there is no centralized team wherein, I can call and I can say that, okay, this thing has happened, I need immediate action. So without asking anything, the team has to support him first. That is not present in this.
Sure.
So if these things are all in place, data in cloud is safe.
Sure. Thank you. So last, I want to just ask, this question to Shiju and Sanjeevan about, the threat of DDoS, and how are you? First is, are you facing this for your businesses? And if yes, then what are the strategies that you're adopting for mitigating such threats?
Yes, we do see the threats for DOS attack. It's a part of our strategy to build up in terms of anti-DOS attacks, things and all. But if you see today, globally, you don't have any solutions. Even though everyone says you have a lot of solutions, we have clouds, you have got a cloud in-prem solutions, you have a clean pipe solutions. Although if you have that, but what in case the capacity goes high? So today, I'm a part of some groups wherein they sell. If you want to do a DOS attack, you buy the package and you can do the DOS. So give them the sites and use it for free also. So I'm saying it's so easily available that kids can buy. So today, if you see, solutions are there, but attacks and response are more far ahead to that. So probably it's a more, you will have to see the ISPs will have to come together, because today ISPs work in silos. So part of my half of the career I was with ISPs. They never talks to each one. So today, even though they have the BGPs and all to each another ISPs, but they never share the data. So how the traffic patterns are coming. So in terms of analytics, in terms of threats, what it comes from which part of the globe. So probably that has to be more in terms, because today it can be only protected through ISPs, not through end users as such, any of the organizations.
Sure. Thank you. Sanjeevan?
Let me give a different perspective. Okay, Ajit mentioned about these attacks have become more sophisticated, okay, more methodological, and the technologies which are used are unique. Now, I wanted to mention one term which I also mentioned in the earlier forums. Why he says this is because cyber crime is obtained as a service. So these are the people who are there, who are offering service, who are the buyers, that I am leave it to you. Okay. Now, how to control this technologically, legally, or adopting the best practices is again lot of thing comes in. If you say APT, there is advanced persistent threat. There is a mechanism to do. Now, recently thought which is coming around is the ransomware. Madam also mentioned that in case something is attacked or the server is attacked, it is no way that we can regain the data unless we have a backup. For the entire data is lost. But look at how these attacks, probably, I don't know whether somebody has come with anti-ransomware.
Not yet.
Is it possible? Okay, no. Okay?
We wish.
I'm just putting a thought process which logically one have to put it. Is administrator is going to click on the server to execute something which is not known? A thought process again. So awareness to them. Okay? Encryption. So who are the actually targets like ransomware? We have to really think out of the box when something is coming. What are the tools has been used for this? So one of the tools which I came across is Angler, which is used to attack or encrypt your data. Now the problem is, These tools doesn't know where, in which folder your actual data lies. Their behavior is totally depending on the DLL files and then understanding where your folders are accessed very often. You have to really think, you can search on the Google, you will find out. So as an operational people or as a CISO, you have to be very alert what is happening and how you're going to protect or do some activities which your services are not hampered. Now coming to your DDoS service what you mentioned, we were targeted once and way back in 2012, and the DDoS service providers when they came in 2011 November, the guy was offering me DDoS service. I said not required, it's very costly and don't need. And in May 2012 we saw some attacks. We went back to him and we took his service and we were protected. The attacks are still there, we can observe the attacks and we know that service is required. Ransomware or drone or SSL v3 attacks, okay? These are patented attacks. Ransomware is not a patented attack which lies on TCP/IP, okay? Attacks like ransomware or attacks like which are coming not in the TCP/IP patent, how do we protect that is a really challenge, not only to the operational people but also the CISOs and the entire fraternity of information technology. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
One more point, Vijay, with respect to ransomware.
Sure.
For yesterday's incident, it's a recent incident. I'm not sure anyone know about this case. In Vancouver, one of the telco's businessmen had a ransomware. So it was not in terms of data.